Headline today has accessed a file noting by Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and his Deputy Manish Sisodia that adds a huge twist to this ongoing turf war between the Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung and the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Look at this file on your television screen. It very clearly, this is about appointment of Shakuntala Gamlin as the acting Chief Secretary, and in this noting, you can see the proposal by Manish Sisodia to appoint Shakuntala Gamlin or Parimal Rai as the acting Chief Secretary in the absence of KK Sharma, who's on 10-day leave. The file noting dates back to the 13th of May, and this noting has been signed by Manish Sisodia, has the approval of the Chief Minister, and says it's okay. We may choose from amongst Ms. Gamlin or Mr. Parimal Rai. I propose Mr. Parimal Rai, but the choice has been left to the Lieutenant Governor. So what changed? And I want to quickly bring in our Executive Editor Javed Ansari, who's accessed this file noting. Javed, what is the ramification of this file noting, where Manish Sisodia is very clearly saying that the Governor may choose, Lieutenant Governor may choose either Ms. Gamlin or Parimal Rai?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, Gaurav. What happened? What changed in the 24 hours? On the 13th, the Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. Sisodia, makes a noting saying that we can choose from either Ms. Gamlin or Parimal Rai, although he would prefer Parimal Rai. And then within a matter of a day, they do a turnaround and they reject the name of Ms. Gamlin. Suddenly they discover all kinds of wrongdoing on her part. If indeed that was the case, then why was her name proposed in the very first instance?
Good question. Stay with me, Javed, and I want to put that question to Mr. H.S. Phulka, who's a very accomplished lawyer and a member of the Aam Aadmi Party. Mr. Phulka, what changed? Manish Sisodia's letter very clearly says they are okay. You either appoint Parimal Rai or you appoint Shakuntala Gamlin. What changed, sir?
Two things, Gauravji. First of all, I do not have the access to these notings because these are the confidential information between the Deputy Chief Minister and the Lieutenant Governor. So neither I can, I do not know about the veracity of the notings. But I know, and I have been clearly told, that the Delhi government had recommended also the name of the Principal Secretary Finance. The Principal Secretary Finance, the Lieutenant Governor had not agreed. Then the Lieutenant Governor was conveyed, because the notings is prepared by the officers below and they are sent to the minister, and on that the Lieutenant Governor was informed that against Mrs. Gamlin there are few allegations that she lobbied for the discoms.
Why then send her name in the first instance, sir? Why send her name in the first instance? Because this was there in the file, in the notings which were sent by the officers concerned. So duly signed by Manish Sisodia, Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, sir. Duly signed by Manish Sisodia with Arvind Kejriwal saying, I agree. Please, Gauravji. The Lieutenant Governor was also informed that there are allegations against Mrs. Gamlin and that she has been lobbying for the 11,000 crore guarantee in the form of the letter of comfort. So therefore she should not be appointed. That was also intimated to the Lieutenant Governor. Now what all has ultimately happened, now the issue which is going on, whether the Chief Minister can have the power to recommend the name, or whether the Chief Minister under the Constitution have the authority to have a person of his own choice. Sir, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I will come to that. Mr. Phulka, you're a very accomplished lawyer, sir. If there were allegations of corruption against Ms. Gamlin, did the Delhi government proceed against her? Did it serve a show cause notice to her? Did it conduct an inquiry against her? You tell me, is this not against principles of natural justice that you say there are charges of corruption against her without giving her a chance to come clean on them? Now there are two different parameters for the purpose of disciplinary proceeding and for the purpose of promotion. The allegations may not be sufficient for the purpose of disciplinary proceeding, but at the same time the allegation may be sufficient to deny the promotion. Now here we are talking about the promotion. As far as now
for the purpose of the promotion, the allegations which were there against her were sufficient to deny her the promotion.
My colleague Javed Ansari has a question for you, Mr. Phulka. Go on, Javed.
Mr. Phulka, when did you discover these charges against Ms. Gamlin? On the 13th, you are recommending her name, and suddenly overnight you discover this. If indeed there were charges against her, why was her name recommended in the first place? This clearly appears to be an afterthought.
Javed ji, it is not an afterthought. The Lieutenant Governor was informed. As far as my information goes, I have told you that these are the official confidential notings. I am not privy to it. I cannot have the access to it. But the Lieutenant Governor was informed, and this is nobody's case that the Lieutenant Governor was not informed about the 11,000 crore guarantee which she was lobbying for.
What is the evidence? What is the evidence that if she was lobbying for a firm, why have not initiated an inquiry against her?
Gaurav ji, I have told you again, there are some allegations which are maybe sufficient to deny the promotion. Those allegations may not be sufficient to proceed under the disciplinary inquiry. So these are two different parameters. That if you are not promoting a person, you take disciplinary proceeding. So that cannot be. This is no standard under the civil jurisprudence. A person.
Javed, isn't this maligning an officer's character? And if you're saying that she is lobbying for a company, but if you have grounds to proceed against her, or let her be promoted, Javed.
Gaurav, this is mind-boggling. You can't argue a case both ways. She was guilty. She was not fit enough, and yet her name was recommended. What does it say for the Chief Minister and for the Deputy Chief Minister who recommended her name in the first place? When the moot question which Mr. Phulka is not answering is, when did they discover that there was a lot of wrongdoing on her part, and why did they recommend her name in that?
And Mr. Phulka, one more point I wanted to come to you and talk about the issue of locking up offices of top IAS officers. What is happening in Delhi, sir?
Now, as far as the locking of the office is concerned, the work allocation is the power of the Delhi government. Now, to Mr. Majumdar, the work which was allocated to him, work was allocated to another officer, to Mr. Rajinder. Now, Mr. Rajinder took over the charge in the morning, and he had another charge, he had another room. So Rajinder locked this room and went and started working in the other room. This is not that the government locked. This is the officer who has taken over the charge. This is his own choice that from which room he wants to sit and from which room he wants to work. Because he has the charge of both the departments,
but
and both the departments have different rooms.
Who appoints an officer, LG or Chief Minister? Is this not the job of the Lieutenant Governor? Because all appointments now stand cancelled.
No, work allocation is the power of the Delhi government. Now that's what I was trying to say. There has been lot of misgiving and misnomer as far as the powers of the Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister is concerned. The Delhi High Court interpreted these powers 239AA, Article 239AA and 163, which is the power of the governor in the state. Delhi High Court interpreted in a judgment of 1998. That is in the case of Om Prakash Pava. And the High Court made it very clear in two categories of the cases. One is the reserved subject, which is the police, law and order and land. The other category is which under any law, it mentioned that it is the discretion of the Lieutenant Governor. Apart from these two categories, all other subjects, the Lieutenant Governor has the same power as the Governor of the state. And the Delhi High Court applied the Sampurn Singh judgment.
Mr. Phulka, stay on with me.
The same parameters would apply.
Mr.
And now
Phulka,
Gaurav ji, 1 minute. In para 75, the High Court has very clearly said that the Governor and the Lieutenant Governor cannot run the parallel administration.
No, but is this parallel administration being run, or is this issue actually a war for full statehood where the Chief Minister wants all these powers as there are there in other states, but Lieutenant Governor in Delhi holds different powers? What happens now? Does this case go to the President? Does it go to courts for resolution? Because both sides are sticking to their guns.
That the Constitution says. Constitution 239A clearly says.
But both sides are arguing 239A gives them the power.
No, that's right. Just a minute. 239 says that if the Lieutenant Governor does not agree with the Delhi government, then the Lieutenant Governor has to refer it to the President.
Okay.
And in the meantime, whatever order he passes, that will prevail. Lieutenant Governor has to refer.
So whatever order he passes will prevail. That's the catch there, Gaurav.
Yes.
Whatever order he passes will prevail. But you didn't allow that order to prevail.
But it is only if he refers. But it is only if he refers the matter to the President. The Lieutenant Governor has not followed that procedure. He has not referred the matter to the President. If he has not referred the matter to the President, then in that thing, interim order he cannot pass. So therefore, because the order which he is passing without referring the matter to the President, now that is wrong.